Welcome everyone to Politically High Tech. This is a technological kind of episode. We're going to focus discussion of AI, and the important theme here that I should have put together a while ago is what are the exact definitions, especially with Michael, especially when he says about what's mean be human centric versus system relevant. Okay, we're going to get a lot more into that. That's the first thing to say. You kind of know what he is. He is the creator, the god with a little g of the smart of art. He's very artistic, more artistic than I'll ever be in my lifetime. I've realized I got some creative talents. It wasn't as perfect systems. Okay, the square box go, all the squares go one place, all the rectangles go in this place, all the triangles get sorted far away. Sometimes I have to bend to the creative side just to focus certain messy problems, that cannot be solved with just a 1, a 2, and a 3. Sometimes you need a little bit of red, a little bit of triangle, a little bit of this and that. Then voila, you come with a perfect antidote that cure every single atom, every single part of this problem. So he is the fastest reoccurring guest because normally I kind of push him away to next season, but he has a lot to say. That's why he is back very, very quickly. I think the only one that has done that was Jeff Ward, because Jeff Ward had a lot of wonderful things to say in terms of politics, and he has great insight that I think it should be spread more often instead of Democrats versus Republicans. Israel, the Jew versus the Palestine, no. We need to pick the side of humanity. And just a quote, I'm gonna steal from Michael here. Be more human centric. Picking either side is what he will say is system relevant. You join a system of conflict. He's nodding yes. I'm getting it. Yay to your host. Come on, cheer me on. Don't be stingy, listeners. Give me some emojis.
Perfect.
But at least got that. Like a lot, it actually took me some time to grasp it. It's not something that you can just brush and read and grab things very quickly. Sadly, I'm used to that because we live in this fast-paced society. I'm a New Yorker. That's more of a fault. Like, it could be both a good and a bad thing. This one you just had to sit down, just be mindful and still, just to make sure the mind is actually grasping it. And so I'm not the most patient person in the world. I just go. But I'm going to drag this long enough because Mike has a whole lot to say, and he's just this cage is about to explode with great ideas. So welcome back.
Thanks, Elias, for having me. Let's go right to the point, what people misunderstand. And that's I always talk about human centricity and living a life that is human centric primarily, or a system relevant life. So I separate the two. Human-centric means you are in our species, meaning all zebras, all horses are together, It doesn't matter if you're a zebra or horse, but it's the same family, and a mule. And we are humans, and we are one. Nature doesn't make a distinction between female zebras and male zebras, unless it is mating season. But it makes no difference. It makes no difference in race. It makes no difference that the giraffe is different than the elephant. And it's all human-centric, which means we focus on our species, and this species is a part of nature. So we are not the kings of everything. We are a part of nature. And that's what is human-centric living. And then there's system relevant living, and system relevant living we all have to live because we choose to be playing our game of monopoly, where we exchange goods and services in a system that we created. And so I call ourselves humans are collective creator species of nature, and that's why creativity is so important. And that's why we all have to tinker. Even the CEO that works 60 hours, on the weekends, he's tinkering on his car. Even though he has the money to get a mechanic or a gardener, he's in the garden, right? So we need to be tactile. We need to touch. We need to interact. And since we are part of nature, human centricity has to be priority. So what I learned through my consulting and advising more. I'm not a teacher. I give you my perspective, and you can integrate that perspective with yours. And then, because you are one of 8 billion people, so I wouldn't know what you need. I can just tell you in a context my perspective, and then you can use that perspective to widen yours or rectify yours or make yours stronger if I was wrong. So in this in this systemic environment, it's right or wrong, good or bad. It's dualistic. There is no such thing as a devil in nature. And so we're making these mind constructs of a bad person, a devil. This race is this way. Death race is that way. Women are this way and men are this way. And we all know that there is more masculine women than men often. And there's men that are more feminine than masculine. And we know that women can do often more than male dominant genres. They are better shots, for example, even though we were segregated into different genders when we systemically, right? This is not naturally. Systemically, we were segregated in man and woman because the guys had less feeling. They could cover their feelings less and they could kill better. But actually, we found out over the time that women are better shots than men in general, when you generalize. I'm not saying this. This is the problem with systems. They want to generalize to give it a classification, that say, Italian people are like this, Jews are like this, and this is all categorized, and then it becomes
Puerto Ricans are loud, all of them are good at dancing salsa,
Exactly.
Which is stereotype.
They're all local. You know that, right? You heard that your whole life, yeah? Puerto Rican. So the system categorizes, and then we adapt it over generation. We then believe, okay, the Puerto Ricans are crazy. We believe that, but it's like there's some Jews that do some stuff. All Jews are more rich. I know more poor Jews than rich ones. So it's we take it in, and then we look at that perspective, system relevance perspective of what the system says. That must be right. And it's so bad now. I want to come to that AI that we complain now before AI that everything is a conspiracy. That the top controls the bottom. And now we take the power from the top away and give it to AI, but we created something that we don't even understand. So we basically, again, we created AI and we hand over our power and create a machine that basically, could potentially do things that we have no clue of how it works. So when a car, when something breaks, you go in and you take it apart and you understand, the carburetor, that's what it is, why it stutters. But in AI, it is self-learning without a black box. You can't separate it. And I think it's just a shift from our unworthiness. I think humans, because they never think human-centrically, because the more I do, and I'm working with this stuff for 10 years and stuff, the more I feel, oh my God, we are limitless. I mean, you and I are highly neurodivergent. I have no education, but with common sense, we can reach everyone. And that's the human centricity. And that's why podcasting is so human centric, because two people talk to each other using their six senses, adapting to each other, and creating a conversation where both contribute. See, in systems, that is, I'm the expert, you're the idiot. I am, you are the authority. I am nothing. I win, you lose. I'm better than you. And it's always this value, a system value adjustment. We constantly want to be system relevant because we know when we are system relevant, this is our survival, because the system also induces in us that it's never enough. So you hit the first quarter of your business, and then you cannot even celebrate because tomorrow you have to start the second quarter. So it's never enough. And I think because of our never enoughness, these people that are on top do harm to other people because survival always trumps any emotion. If you put the cutest animal in a corner, it bites you. And we are animals. We are a part of a species of nature. And why should it not? You see what's going on the streets. People just freak out. They have enough. They cannot digest what they experience anymore. They do systemically. We do so much that we cannot digest it. And that's why we can sleep, because in sleep we should digest it, and we don't, because it's too much. It just gets us out of being here in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's those are very, very profound points. And of course, talking about AI, about how AI and I think that needs to be pointed out. I didn't think of it that way. That it's just we transfer this power and the focal points of technology because we see ourselves limited, weak. I gotta emphasize that because you emphasize limitless, weak, stupid, chaotic, things that are against order and system, uniqueness. They want to standardize everything. But me personally, I like AI as a tool, but I do always emphasize vigilance and action, because we shouldn't be super dependent on AI on every single thing.
On anything, not on power, not on. We shouldn't be dependent on anything, because if one power grid is running this world, it's easy to turn that off. It's easy to turn that off. You gotta have, if you want to put power in the United States, for example, all solar power, you got to put it in every town, because you don't want it in one central. Central is cheaper, but it's more dangerous, because central power, never forget, 14 people decided over 6 million Jews, and they were all highly educated. 14 people at a castle outside, somewhere in Germany. They were deciding over 6 million Jews be killed. That's why I am against centralized power, because but automatically, if you get all of a sudden this power, you pivot. So you want to get 100 grand. That's your target. You make 150 grand, you're still fine. 200 grand, something happens with you, because your ego all of a sudden comes in and says, now what you're going to do, you're going to keep that 200 grand coming, because you got to do next more. It's never enough, right? You got to do more. And now you get the afraid of not having the goal is now losing the goal. So it's never enough. It's never enough. It cannot be enough.
In other words, greed and fear and all the right.
But greed is it's a right emotion. The greed is the emotion that actually, when you dissect it, is a correct human-centric emotion, because you know that success doesn't happen in a formula, because if it would, everybody would be successful.
That's true. Very true.
So a successful tool is the cell phone. Everybody has it. So if success was also a formula like the cell phone, everybody would be successful. But that can't be, because it's never enough, because the whole thing, it has to always grow. But not physically.
So let me just reframe it. So let me just reword this. So it's never satisfied. Never
exactly.
Never satisfied. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No,
and once you're satisfied,
that's why I'm into make sure I'm following. Okay.
Yeah. And it's always the financial principles are wrong, for all outdated. Basically, they're not wrong. They're outdated. They helped a lot, because they only reward. They never reward you. They only punish you. So let's say we run out of money, we go bankrupt. You get denied access to certain things. You get, and you go so far that you get in prison. Because in nature, and that's why I say human-centrically, in nature, you have an effort, you get up the tree and there is an apple, you take the apple and it's yours. And you can share it if you want, but it's yours. In the system relevant, I think that's a really good thing. You need to get a permission to get a ladder. Then you need to have a license to can actually step up the ladder. Then you get the apple and you bring it down. Then it's going to be assessed. And then perhaps you get a half of it or a quarter of it. When you paid off with the apple, all the ladder and all the systemic thing. And this is the craziness. So and that's why we're never enough. That's why the humans feel they're never enough, because we have so much system effort, so much system relevant licenses. And I'm not saying I'm not against license, what's necessary. But for example, you need to get a driver's license to drive a car, basically pushing 2 pedals and knowing 15 signs on the street, but you can bear children as many as you want. And people just, okay, let's just make children, and you can't get punished or anything. So the system relevant is distorting our perception of what life should be. Life should be experience life with other humans. And system relevant is you got to be the best. You got to be win or lose. You got to be thinking about money all the time, because even Elon thinks
conform to the job. To
conform to the job. Yeah. Okay. You do, even if you don't like it, you have to, because that's your survival.
Yeah.
And that's a stress. You wonder why people drink, and I think why people are so overweight and stuff. You work an 8 hour in a job that is not you. Even if you like the job, it's not 100% you. You come home at night, you eat that frustration down because you didn't express yourself. And then what you do after you eat, you want to express yourself? You can't. You go watch Netflix. That's the whole thing. And we got to be aware about this. There's no steps. I don't have steps for it, because you're one of 8 billion. And everybody's listening is one of 8 billion. A one of one.
Yeah. I mean, some people could just misunderstand, say, "Oh, this guy's anti-system." No, he's just
I'm not
more aware, And some people could just say, "Oh, but you said something that support a system, and yet you said something that is against the system." He's being a hypocrite.
Yeah.
My point is, people's going to interpret it any way that they want to, and
yes.
Just add to the uniqueness and how we can hear the same speech, right? I mean, I think it's just a part, but come up with a different takeaway or our different.
Absolutely, because one thing is that we're not
the best example for America is Martin Luther King's speech. Yep. Democrats and Republicans, that's the best example. They have a different interpretations about what he meant when it comes to humanity and equality and all of that. And that's a simple way of putting it. And at the individual level, forget it. There's just way too many different examples to go through how they take it. They agree. They probably agree on some points, about, racism's bad. I mean, that's a system. That's a good part of the system thinking on that one. The bad part is, did he really meant to overthrow the white evil government?
In nature is no racism. There is no racism. Like I said, the zebra and the elephant don't care that they look different, or the giraffe is better because it's higher. It doesn't exist. When you systemic reverse engineer racism, it never works. Because what you basically say, oh my God, thank you, system. You are like God. You made us equal. Ask any woman in this world if they feel equal. As much, even if they're CEOs, no woman in this world or race will ever feel equal. Because if I deem you inferior and then say, okay, I deem you now, I bless you, and you are the same, you will never get rid of that. Because the fact that you first were not equal, you were you were less than me, or not as good as the white people, for example. What can I do over generation? You were worse as a woman, as a race, as your sexuality was in always. So now, if system can make 15 books on equality, it will. If we don't look at it system-centrically and say in nature there is none, so let's drop all our him, her, he, she, whatever race. We are all humans. That's my solution. But as I am only one of 8 billion, and you see, this is what people forget. It's not, science proves that we're all 8. We have different DNA, different fingerprints, different eyes. But what science doesn't say is that we also have a different perspective. So when you have a family, right? I have 2 brothers and a sister. They look at life completely different. So not only are we chemically different, we're built differently. And in that, though, once you're aware, oh my God, we also have different perspective. And they say, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. I can't see why you're a Republican, why you're another thing, because you can't see it. And that's okay. but you need the awareness that everybody sees different. And there is no right and wrong because we are 8 billion.
Right. Now, and just to add on to it, it is easier said than done because, look, let's just say people mentally lazy. I want to put Michael in this, let me just use you for example. I want to put you as a racist white man because it's easy. Oh, I feel good. I'm attacking the white man. Is it right? Absolutely not. It's utterly ridiculous. I mean, it takes effort just to have that cognizant because the brain, systemically speaking, is lazy. It likes to come with the easiest.
It's not lazy. It's not lazy. You know what it is? It is, you shouldn't think so much, but systems ask you to think so much. So it's easier to say Michael is a racist than to just look at me as a human, because you are conditioned to with my mind construct to categorize where you are so you can system relevant deal with me. And that's so you're not lazy. There's no lazy. And why I say that? I say, is there lazy in nature? No. And nature doesn't make mistakes. You were born for a reason, whatever that reason is. The elephant is an elephant, the ant is an ant.
Right.
But there's no lazy. There is no lazy.
Technology has suppressed us that much that it, quote unquote.
No, we do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves because it's the more fame I have, the more money I have, the more success I have systemically, which is an unnatural habitat. In nature, everybody participates in a success of a species. If a species survives, like look, dinosaurs didn't survive, but but birds are the ancestors of dinosaurs. They survived.
Bugs survived.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's just in nature there is not something. Everybody's part of it. We are the same, but we're pretending we're not. And that's why I say be human-centric. We say we are one family, like we are the world. That's like a system construct, a reverse of what the world is, which is wrong. What's right is we are one family. We are all in this together.
A lot of the human DNA, to your point, a lot of human DNA is actually more similar than not. This is probably like 1% here and there, just for the eyes, the hair. Yeah, I'm sure perspective, just like you said, it is a unique perspective. Just use my family. I got some family who are, wide variety of how they look at life. Religion, not all of them are Catholic. Some are atheists. They just say, why would God mess up the world? This is within the family branch. And some would say, oh, God is doing great. It's just that you heathens refuse to go to them. This is just within the family structure. Oh, and forget it. My father's side family, I got the whitest of the white to the blackest of the black within the art. So skin diversity, skin tone diversity, forget it. And then the races actually adapt to what they were categorized, because a dark black is not as valuable as a light black. This is insane. For me, if I'm really, if I'm an African American, I would be proud to be Miles Davis. You know what I mean? I'm just saying really dark, and I cannot identify with this because I'm white, so I cannot identify. I'm not speaking for blacks or white. I just think there's an insanity, a systemic insanity, that darker people are worse than lighter in the race, and is what I can never comprehend as a human on a human-centric view of things. And I think so. What I'm saying is this system relevant. Once you can compartmentalize, and I hope we do everything to do that people get that. It made my life 50% easier, because your choices are not based on system relevance, but on human relevance. I'm not saying Elias, I better not talk to him. He's not my race. And he's neurodiverse. God thinks I'm neurodiverse too. But it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy because you learn from every human, and this is what podcasts are so powerful. Both the good,
and we're all the same.
And then so
I did 200. I did 200 guest appearances all over the world, and everybody is the same in humanity, in human context, not system relevant. In the human context, everybody is similar, because we have
system
six
relevance.
senses and we talk. Yeah.
Like I said, I think we do all this classification, all that, more for convenience sake. It's okay.
Yeah.
All white people there, all black people back there, all Latinos in the middle, all Asians go to a different bus.
Yes.
And I think a lot of it's based on fear, and they want to wear that certain mask. Okay, I'm just gonna be with my people. I mean, sadly, it still exists here and there, but I'm happy overall that we are. I mean, overall less racist, and I think
absolutely. I mean, much less.
There's more blemishes and remnants of little bits and pieces here and there, I would say. It wasn't as systemic as before. I mean, let's just.
And obviously, in LA and New York, people in urban areas, people are more accepted, because if they would fight in the urban area, you couldn't exist there. So you have to accept each other. And then you find, hey, I like this guy. I like this. And it's funny because really, and this is very interesting about political things. When I see the groups of people that I know, there is a Latino in there, there's a black girl in there, there's this in there, there's that in there. The one came from Europe, they're new from Russia. There's a groups that hang out with each other, coders, whatever. They're all doing this. And nobody is, and the moment it comes to elections or political stuff, people switch into that. I'm for, women's rights. She never talks about women's rights because it's one. We are just like animals, all playing around, doing what we need to do.
Yeah, we wearing different masks for different situations.
Yes, and then we adapt to, and what I perceive recently with all the politics that's going on, they live in the metaverse. They live in their own, and they believe their own stuff. They believe, oh my God, Hamas ending, all Israel is dead. I mean, I had friends calling me, when I moved here a long time ago, when we had an earthquake, right? They saw everything on media destroyed, stores that went in the bottles and whatever, houses collapsed. They said, are you okay? I said, I haven't even been touched. I felt it, but I haven't been, because the media and politics is all system relevant, right? It's all about system relevance. It's never, don't hear
about Puerto Rico. I visit there. Whole thing washed out, cleaned out, not even true. Only certain parts, and Puerto Rico is mostly rebuilt already.
And
but
beautiful.
that's not good for the system. No, we can't talk about that. No, we got to talk about the death, the destruction, the water washing everything away. Woo! Yeah. Okay, Puerto Rico's dead. Yeah.
And they're horrible people, and they have nothing, and they're poor,
right,
and whatever. It's just horrible, and this media goes from one country to another and says how shitty they are, and the politicians use that to say, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, and that's so they live in their own world, and every time you say California is the worst thing, so crazy, so everything is crazy, and then you have this issue with Biden cleaning up in 2 weeks San Francisco. And for years, we were told by politicians, by mayors, we had 10 mayors or whatever since Union Square and everything is with homeless people, with humans, where humans hang out because they can't go systemically anywhere else, and the system has failed them. And then it's in 2 weeks it's clean, and people say, oh, yeah, we had to clean up our mess. And you told us for 15 years that it's impossible. So you were lying to us 15 years. 15 years of humans being bothered from the people that are there and from the people that live there that have houses. And it's just homes. That is, I think this is why they believe it. I don't believe they're mean. I believe the politicians really believe what they read because they're dependent on media, right, to be relevant.
Yeah, and they gotta be informed, so that's their, they're reacting to based on what they're informed.
And it's a loop. It's a hamster wheel. That's why we always do the same, because they're codependent and they need each other. Media needs politics. Politics needs media.
Yeah,
but that's a different world that we live, because when I was a politician in Newport Beach, the politicians were all talking blah, 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 blah. But the staff was the best thing ever. And I see it everywhere. The staff does their job. And when
I
the
don't think
staff
staffers get criticized. It's always just the main head, the politics.
no. I'm saying it's not, because the staff has to be in our world, in the real world, and the politicians have to be in another. And that's why there's always a conflict between human centricity, doing your job, and system relevance, being relevant. Politicians, they need to have one target: being relevant in systems. Media, system relevant. Everybody has to listen to us. And that's why I say, once you can separate that and say, don't give so much power to system relevance, but more to your friends, to meet
to
people.
your point, social media is actually pushing people out of that, trying to get out of that system thinking, the brainwash. I mean, they call it brainwashing, conspiracy, all that. They'll label those things. And so live your life, find what's the best path for you. I mean, there are more people pushing that social media. I think that's one of the good of social media. I would say normally I'm very critical of social media because they could be used for systems thinking just like the mainstream media. I mean, there's a lot of examples.
Algorithms. I mean, they're basically they're not representing the humans. They edit by, because that's why every newspaper has to go through through regulations and all that stuff, and social media doesn't. And the problem is through your algorithm, you editorialize your content to make more money. Again, we come back in the loop of it's never enough. Billions of that you have. When the more money you have, the more money you have to make. So monthly, Elon needs $100 million, and we need $2,000 to survive, $3,000, and the more you get in that stress factor, the easier you do harm to your fellow humans, because you are out if you don't have the 100 million. So you say, okay, let's just do this.
I could go along with the woke, and I wasn't woke before. Just be system relevant. Yeah, look at me. I'm saying all these crazy terms. I'm woke with you and all that. Yeah. A lot of people have done that just to be system relevant. I mean, politicians too. So
absolutely.
So all right, I want to make okay. So I'm getting the full understanding of it. So I think I want to stick to AI. I mean, we kind of jumped from here.
Let's go. Yeah.
So but that's good though, because this will serve like a broader context. So you already, based on our early conversation, you already said that AI is a great tool. I think it's a great tool, but even though I think we should be very alert of potential dangers or biases, because some of the human bias is being transferred to AI. So I think you have a positive opinion of AI, even though it could sound like at times you just give me a lot of examples of saying about why AI.
I have a good Elias. I have a good thing of any technology if we know why we created technology in the first place, right? So if I know a can opener is making it easier to open a can. Okay, so I know why I have something, but sometimes we have technology we don't even know. Like we have an app, a dating app, that actually makes us less social, because people, or without any dating app, people say, I could not find a man or a woman because I can't, I'm so used to the last 10 years or 15 years we have dating apps. And people cannot do it. So we're using technology to be less human, so more system relevant. So I need to have this, and it has to be obvious.
Our human nature, in other words, because we are social beings, and that,
and our social
that's why isolation and loneliness is on the rise too. So
which is,
apps, you already said dating apps, which that's such a great example, and I think it increases prejudice because it allows more options. The women want to pick the most Cheezel, Adonis looking man, while for the man, you want to pick the most beautiful, quote unquote, most flawless woman that they could find. So
it cuts out everybody in the middle. It keeps just the top people, which is the same thing. 2% of podcasts make 98% of the revenue, right? But what is promoted in podcasting? Joe Rogan, Howard Stern, all these top people. And that's what always, when you look at it, system relevant, it's always the system will never promote their mistakes, their failures, but when you work with somebody and you see he had made a mistake, he made a mistake, and he has to stand to that or make it better, But in system, it's basically it's that manipulation that systems automatically have because they're run by one or a board, and these people all need more, and so they are in a scarcity, and so they just do shenanigans. But I think with AI, what I wanted to say with AI is not the solution to system relevance. Because the biggest, when AI came first on the was publicized with ChatGPT, everyone, I couldn't see any person that says either good or bad. Nobody. Everybody says bad. Oh my God, fear, which is absolutely not. It has points, but it's very little. And then the good people that thought, oh my God, it's gonna be all the letters I have to write, all the things I have to do. It's gonna take all this system relevant work that we hate, that everybody hates. Why? Because we all want to be leaders. Why? Because that the other people do the dirty work. So AI could be that we could all be leaders and AI does all the dirty work. The assistants that calls the people, that gets your permission, that fills out the form, that does that, whatever. And I say, why not fix the system? Why not update the systems so they're more human-centric, that we don't need to do so much system work? Because one thing is, the more system work you have and you accept as necessary work for systems, the more systems you have to create. When there's a new system for, a new thing, like transgender, for example, the bathrooms, right? So now the bathrooms are taken away from handicapped people because the transgender is more relevant, system relevant right now. So they made all disabled bathrooms. They made for everyone. What I don't know what they called. So one parcel. What do you call it? When everybody can go.
So the same bathroom.
Same bathroom.
Unisex.
Yeah. Unisex bath. So they made every bathroom unisex because they couldn't build more here in a restaurant and say, oops, we need an extra bathroom for that. So it takes away from the handicapped people. So but not because they need it more, the transgender. It's because transgender is more, and I'm not against any system definition of what you think you are. You can say I'm a dog, and I accept that, but you can, if that's given system relevance, then I'm making a new thing with you right now. We're gonna make a new gender right now, right? I mean, it's just to be relevant because everybody wants to count. And when I read, this is where we gotta be aware. We cannot just say, okay, whatever is system relevant, that's what we're going to do. So AI is not going to take away, it's going to help, but it's not going to take away the system. And I'll give you an example. Before the computer, we got 2 mails, 2 letters, 10 letters, a big company, 40 letters. When the moment the computer came, now we get 300 emails. When AI makes the emails look like you wrote them to me or I wrote them to you, we're going to get 1,000 emails. So why are we losing in that? Because time, you can pay for time. It takes the time. I used AI to see what it could help me with writing. It took so much time, I don't use it anymore. It took so much time because you get so many results and you have to still read them through them. And I don't read, me, neurodiversity, I don't read. I let the computer read it to me. But it takes a lot of time and nobody cares about time. Everybody talks about money. Because with all the money, you can't buy back time. You can't buy. This is the justice for all. We all have 24 hours. That's it. Justice for all. 8 billion people. Everybody unique viewpoint on life, and everybody has the same time. And when you use that, when you get always, this grounds me. When I think about it, this is anytime I feel confused, I don't know what to do, I can't make a choice. I'm saying, okay, these things, system relevance, human relevant, 8 billion people, that put me right here now and says, you better enjoy that moment with Elias because you cannot repeat it. We couldn't repeat our first interview. Is completely different than this.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
Yeah. And it's such a treasure.
Even if we tried.
Yeah, it's no way. No
No
way.
way.
We can.
We could try to read the transcript. The emotion is going to be different. It's going to be
Yeah,
awkward.
totally.
They're going to have a different feeling. It's going to be monotonous. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we could try, but it's just never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
So AI.
Me, I'm definitely more vocal, more talkative because I have a clearer focus.
Exactly.
First time I just wanted to get to know who you was and just as in which you're a very fascinating person. So, and I know I didn't get to at least the basics needing cram. I'm just, for me, the way I see it, I'm just barely scratching the surface. I've just got just a little deep.
And it's so different when you look. I did over 200 interviews since last year, and when you talk to every interview is different.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about everything. And I have no education. I have 8 years of school and had 8 years and had 2 of them repeat. So basically I have six years of schooling in my life. Everything is self-taught. And I was forced to be human-centric and make everything AI.
I'm going to call you naturally educated.
Yeah, naturally educated. And you see, it's not that bad, you know.
No.
And the thing is, I had to everything with common sense, because I can only understand human-centrically common sense. That's why people want to talk to me, because I can talk to them as a human-centrically, not, oh, there's this thing and that thing, and this over transistor of this, lingo, system relevant lingo that nobody understands, even though I say system relevant and human centric. And that is already, I only do one very technical thing, system relevance and human centric. And it's hard. But I want to come to one thought for your listeners and you. I thought about this this morning. I said 10,000, and I knew we were going to talk about AI. And I said, so everybody thinks AI is going to do their system jobs, right? Because the creative jobs you want to do, you want to be the leader, you want to give orders to people. Now, you know the 10,000 hour rule, right? That you have to do, it's a system definition that if you want to make it to something, you want to be relevant as a human or in systems, you have to do a skill 10,000 hours. You want to be a musician, an artist, you want to be a stock trader, you need 10,000 hours to do that. So why would you do 10,000 hours on something that is very simple? Because, without, let's say you're a smith, a blacksmith, 10,000 thing till you have you can make a knife that is better, like the Japanese knife thing. It's very simple. There's minute things. Oh, they use a different ash, they use a different thing, a different wood. 10,000 hours they have to do. Now, how do you think that would grow you as a human and be appreciated at somebody that has 10,000 hours? It's a shortcut. You can never 10,000 hours, because it's in the experience. It's not in the knowledge. AI can only do knowledge. It can compress and resort and stuff that no human can do. I mean, there's no human that can look at all the knowledge that we have on the web and sort it out. AI can, but wisdom and fulfillment is not in the knowledge, but in the experience. So I think that alone, I'm not knowing the answer, but I'm saying human centricity is important. And that's why in my last book, The Smart of Art, I segregated the creation, and the creation of art is more valuable than the outcome. And I can say that even in system relevance, you work everything, you sacrifice everything for that success. And the success is just a fleeting moment. You get the Oscar. Here we go, Elias. Here's the Oscar for the best podcast. You take it, happy, party, and then you're already not partying anymore, because tomorrow you have to keep going.
Yep.
Tomorrow you have to be having that quality.
A lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
I have to either double or triple. And that's extra. Yeah. I mean, you see, you actually impact me to think some things already differently. I mean, I already knew I got to treat every guest very differently and figure out what's their style and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, I'll say I've done a decent job on that. I'm not treating you like If it's a comedic guest, I'm going to be more wild and exciting and come up with crazy stuff to go along with it, because if we're doing comedy, we're doing something weird and random. And, I also have the random segment, because sometimes I don't want to always talk about politics and technology. I want to talk about something very different.
Absolutely.
Let me be a human. That's my blank canvas, the random.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most human-centric side of my podcast. They just, the whole the political history, technology, and all that. So that's my purpose. You just exposed. Well, it's my real purpose of random. This would be to get out of these two boxes that I've made. The third box is whatever else I feel like I think needs to be talking to, because some important issues could be outside of politics or technology, believe it or not. So, or maybe a mix of both. Who knows? So yeah, I mean that's very, very profound. I mean, you already impacts on my thinking already. So I'm just gonna say that right up front, because you see how I was thinking it was A, and then you said no, it was actually this. Not greedy, it's just never satisfied. You see, I used to kind of put those two together.
Oh, we all do. Elias, it's not you.
No, I know that. I'm just giving you more specific.
Yeah.
It's all okay. So I mean, we do mix couple ideas to get thinking it's the right thing, and then you get deconstructed. It doesn't make as much sense.
I need to deconstruct everything to understand it. I cannot. I have no education. If I was conditioned, I would be like everybody else. But see, I could never be system relevant, and now my system relevance is because I'm not system relevant. You see, now the system can get advantage of me because I'm looking at a different perspective, or my perspective is just more common sense, more human centric, because I don't have a system. I look at AI. I mean, I'm almost finished with my book of AI. I'm not writing a book on AI technology, ChatGPT versus Claude 2 or versus, whatever the other brands are. I'm not doing that. I have no idea.
Others,
I have no clue about the technology, but I have a clue in saying questions it. Why are we using what we're using? Why are we doing what we're doing? And can it, the 10,000 hours is it really that stuck in me? I said, why would somebody spend 10,000 hours if it could just be with AI, could be one bottom? So what are you going to do then? Where's your worth? Where's your value? Then you even less worth. Because if you are a different person from when you started the podcast, because every time you get more and more of you, because every human that comes on your podcast gives you more an experience of you, not only of the other, but also of you. And people listen to you. And that's why you need 10,000 hours to be a master of something. It's not 10,000, it might be 9,000. I'm not systemically and saying it has to be 10,000 hours, but in the experience of self with other human, you grow. And not you grow. See, this is all misconstrued. In systems, you have to grow every quarter needs to be more. No, it's supposed to be you grow more, you become smarter, you become more self-aware, you be more fulfilled in your life, and you can every day you can wake up and say, great day, another day to experience, to see what's going on. And you never feel fulfillment through systems. The Oscar doesn't give you fulfillment. It's what the Oscar means human-centrically, that people look up to you, but that's phony. That's
as soon as you do something really bad and all that, a lot of them will jump out the bandwagon
and you're gone. And it might not even be bad, it might be a different perspective, but we always look differently.
So you actually answered some of the questions I have right here. So should we continue the progress? We said once they deal with the more human-centric focus, because the point of technology is to make things more efficient and have more time to be our human self, socialize, be creators and all that. So you already answered that. So is there any way that AI or even technology in general, I'm just going to open it up, that could assist with the human uniqueness? I mean, there's already subtitles. There's already, audio for those who don't want to read a book, have the book read to you, or art apps, workout apps.
We have everything. But this is the easy stuff. why not see, just from this podcast, I would have but it's up to us humans to ask that to AI do this. AI could help, but it doesn't. So how to find out your uniqueness, Elias? You're one of 8 billion. Mm-hmm. So what can AI do to support you, or even being a business? You pay and AI tells you, probably the first steps for free. And you say, oh my God, this is great. Yeah, it understands that and goes further and further and further till it helps you to find your uniqueness human-centrically first, not system-relevant. Oh, you would be a good priest. No. Human-centrically. What
makes Elias to be Elias, Michael to
Elias as one of 8 billion.
Right.
That's the vision. That's the human vision for that AI, to figure out what is that and how can AI, self-learning, help you to find that, because every person is one of one. Only there's not enough processing power, because we have 100 billion.
I think AI would explode. It will upgrade eventually, but it will.
No, it cannot, because we have 100 billion neurons in our brain, and that times 8 billion.
Oh, forget it.
I mean, our functioning, we
can't comprehend that number. It's very hard to it's extremely hard. I mean, it's very extremely hard, if not impossible, for human brain comprehend that. I think the AI, I'm sure it's not ready for that yet, at least yet.
Yeah. So, and then I would say we humans have human-centrically the responsibility, not just the right, the responsibility to define technology that we create. Transparency. So the stuff that just happened with, losing, that people just leave and do another company and open, the whole thing. Transparency. Any technology, any system, because it serves humanity, needs to be transparent. That's what we have to change. We need to be transparent.
Yep. And suddenly the very few, powerful and neglected government just put their sense in there, and then release it to the public about transparency. I agree, and get more people involved on how how the AI or even the upcoming technology should be designed. Just to assist, those. I absolutely agree with that. I've talked to other guests that have said similar things. Of course, they use the terminology that they use. More people need to be involved, because the very few, the creators, the board, and the governments, they got their say, and then now it's out to the public. Sometimes we need to have everybody involved before we come up with safeguards that many could agree with.
Yeah, but it's the time. See, the time drives that. The lack of time, to R&D is no. We just launch it, and then if people have accidents with those cars or with that washing machine or whatever, then we fix it. It's very easy to do this on a physically, technically, like a washing machine or a car, but on a digitally, it's not. And that's, I think, what we all feel but can't express. We all feel that, see, if I can take a washing machine apart and see, oh, this was wrong, that belt was worn out, and that's why it's easy. We have to get to a level, an awareness level, that we can do the same for AI, that we can say, okay, it screwed up there. It gives the wrong prescription or something. And we can just say, okay, I know where it is. I go into this realm and fix it. And as long as we are not there, then we're just shifting. We are the victims. The most people are the victims of systems. Now we got a victim to AI. And because we deem we are not worthy, and we have to see our limitlessness. And the fact is, so everybody that ever contemplates suicide, I say, you're one of 8 billion. I mean, how much more relevant can you be that you are one of 8 billion and with a different perspective? And your perspective doesn't matter how stupid it is. It helps the human potential. That's how human potential grows. When everybody exchanges human perspectives and experiences, look what we do. We say, hey, I want to know, what is the customer rating? We want to, build more perspective, a bigger perspective of our lives. And when we do that, we lift our human potential, because we're saying, oh my God, it's really about humans. It's not about races or gender or sexuality. Oh, it's really, nature does it. Oh, we are part of nature. We cannot dictate nature. We are part of nature. We cannot, and the whole thing was, climate change and CO2. Nobody can do anything with this. But what we all can do is clean water, clean air, clean water, clean food. But we're not going to do that because as long as we focus on something we can't change, like gravity, climate changes. That's why we had ice ages. As long as we focus on that, we don't have to get clean water, clean air, and clean food. And that's
focus on what we can do and control, as opposed to focus on something that's out of our realm.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have control of everything. I mean, some humans you can't grasp that, but that's too bad. We tried. I mean, if you've seen the one art piece that come to mind of the decayed Roman Empire, the structure crumbled, whatever, but plants grow right over it.
Exactly.
Nature is still there. We're still doing fine. While this human society has come to an end, just to put it very nicely.
Yeah. Now, seven times we have destroyed ourselves. This is the 8 times. 7 civilizations have destroyed themselves. And what did nature do? Just grow over.
It just grows right over.
And we're not segregated. We need to see we're not, I think a long time animals were just here to support us. And now I think animals are here to teach us. When you see all the animals thing on social media, what the animals do with each other, and think now they become our teachers because we are not growing. Our human potential stays stagnant.
I think we're going downhill on that. We
no. There's I think there is thing, but you're going down in normal things by all of a sudden saying now you'd really like that. I would say now it's really about you and me being different. No. It's you and me expanding our perspective. That's what it is. It's nothing else. That's what's human-centric.
Yep. I think I'm going to just read this quote. I mean, lovely listeners, tech builders, whoever you are, just listen to this. I think this is a quote that needs to be emphasized here because this is going to encapsulate so much. And when you update AI, make sure you have more of a human-centric piece in front of people's faces instead of at the back end until we have to figure out. I mean, this is something I wanted to say because this even got me to think some things very differently. I'm going to read it word by word. This is Michael's quote, not mine. Just be clear before I read it. And Elias didn't come with this. Don't give me that credit. He could give me copy. I don't think it's copyrighted, but still, I don't like to take people's credit.
And what mine is alls. Whatever I write, I give to humanity. I'm a part of it.
Share this quote with all of us for humanity's sake. Okay, you're not gonna pay for this. The only thing it pays is with time and energy and your own human brain, your own organs. So, as a collaborative creator species of nature, we need to be conscious of our individual creative act. Not tech was supposed to do that, but tech has made us more worker bees being enslaved to these digitized stuff. Some people can even say that, and that's not dramatic at this point. If we have less time, we try to chase time, we can. And then let me continue from here. Therein, we discover our uniqueness and our human-centric meaning of being one of 8 billion singular puzzle pieces for the human weave. So we are all one big weave. We all just tiny little pieces of that weave. Very unique on whatever way you could think of. Just open your mind. It could be spiritual. It could be physical. It could be how we deal with things. Whatever. It's very, very inclusive. More inclusive than what the so-called inclusive experts could come up with. Self-awareness will always trump AI because only AI can be a tool similar to a specialized hammer for sculpture. Yep, AI can create a piece of art, but without the human meaning and the growth process of self. Yep, I could generate an art piece. I'm not an artist. I already used one for the Thanksgiving episode. If you will go straight to the end, like the last 20 minutes, I created a turkey doing a prayer. I put my Christian sense. Yeah, I think it's begging not to be eaten, but that's what's gonna happen anyways. Or unless, you have so much compassion that you just leave it right there. I don't know what people could interpret it, but since, a couple of people have seen it, I'm sure they have different opinions of that. And I'm not an artist. I mean, if you want me to draw a turkey from scratch, you'd think a 5-year-old did it. You'd think a 5-year-old did it. So that's all I'm going to say for that. I mean, I'm happy that AI could generate art. I could make me like an artist, even though I'm not. But that's more my system relevance. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm a great artist, even though AI did it for me. People love beautiful things. So creators, just make sure that you keep this in mind, that every single human being is different. Have different colors, have different options that supports learning styles and different perspectives. Have an AI that's so inclusive that it can interpret, I mean, besides languages, even thought, style, voice, what have you. Anything else you want to add to that before I wrap this up?
Yeah, the one thing that really, when you read the quotes, and thank you for it, that we are all in this together. So, for example, during COVID, we had no wars, right? And then the Ukraine war. I don't know a single person that didn't feel that war on the whole, without looking at the media or anything, but everybody feels it. And now the Israeli-Palestinian war, when we kill 100 people, the rest of us has to take the slack because we are one human weave. Elon can 300 times go up the Mars. When the Earth people suffer, he will suffer because we are all interconnected. Easy example. You go in a mosque, in a church, in anything, and then you go into a government office. One is system relevant, one is more human centric. The church, you feel the difference. We are all interconnected. Otherwise, you could go and you feel no different. I go into a government office, and then I go into a church, and I wouldn't feel any difference. Or a museum. Let's say not even museum versus a government office. There's a difference, and we are all interconnected. And I guarantee, if I put all the richest people and the most powerful people on Hawaii, and the rest of the world is suffering, and they don't know it, put a wall around it, they would feel the rest of us is suffering. We are all in this together. We can't segregate. We all think we can segregate us. We can't. We cannot look at a homeless person on Fifth Avenue and say, I don't give a shit. No, because he is a part of the weave to remind us that if we're system relevant, we can end up like him tomorrow. And he affects more people than any of the shows on Instagram, because how many people walking on Fifth Avenue? People walking around him, giving him money, talking to him. He affects literally every human being. The sad thing is, neither he nor the people that go to him and help him or go around on the other side of the street know that affects him. That is part of him. I'm not saying, be nice to him and whatever, but see that the effect of all humans is important. Not what the system relevant, the beggar and the billionaire are not different, but both of them worry about money. Is life about money and fame and success, or is life about living?
If you still connected to your higher self, you know the simple answer to that question. But if you're still being boxed in deep mentally, even spiritually, to this world, I mean, the Bible, I could quote a couple of biblical quotes: do not be conformed to this world, because there's that. And then I'm sure that, and even some other religions will know that humans are unique individuals. And that's why that has a simple guideline. I mean, even Christians know that we all one big family, and science is slowly coming to that conclusion.
Yeah. Alas, the other thing is God, spirituality, religions which is also a system. Mm-hmm. And they took God, which I'm not denying God at all, but it's very hard from somebody that is system relevant over generation, like our humanity. So that's why I say when you can relate that you are part of your nature, mm-hmm. It will help you to find God easier than just going from here directly. If you see, because in nature you see this is so brilliant, nature doesn't make mistakes. I'm a part of nature, so I'm not a mistake, guaranteed. And see, that's a way to get to God. That's don't cut out nature, and because the religion says you need to make nature
There's a biblical quote for that as well. Appreciate nature. So they're believe it or not, there is biblical quotes supporting exactly what you're saying. So what you're saying is not wacky. It's not mentally ill. It's not, Michael's off the rockers. He's acting wild and all of that. No, this is stuff that the Bible has wholeheartedly supported. It's easy verses to support this without, people are going to always misinterpret because everybody's just so different. But I was sure that a lot of people, if they just took the time to read just a bit or have it read to them with audiobook, or there you go, put some technology in there, because some people wanted read it to them and you got to hear it. Some you got to really hear it. I mean, you could read it in silence, but some people miss out. But that's just I'm just wearing a more theologian hat right there. Have it read to you as well, so that it can become more alive.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say for that. I'm not forcing you to any religion. You pick, you ultimately decide. Everyone's journey is unique. The Bible perfectly understands that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say about that. The Bible perfectly understands that every single person's journey is unique. You cannot just say, be polite. Not everyone's going to be polite.
Yep.
And even one of the most revered figures, Jesus Christ, was not always polite. He was not always polite. So that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. And, but of course, religion, I'm going to use that more of a systems thinking. Be quiet. Listen to everything priest has to say. That's more systems thinking. What if they need to talk? Sometimes they have a better understanding, one of them in that crowd, than the priests.
Yeah.
Or two, or three, or maybe even 50 people have a higher, sharper understanding. I'm using that because some priests are not doing the best of job, in my opinion. I'm not going to name them, but that's all I'm going to say about that. So, all right, let me take off my theologian hat and just apply to your human-centric versus system relevant, and counter against that system relevant thinking. Do I think system relevance should be used at the basic level? I think so. Just as a starter. And then you dive in deeper, as you go, because everyone's journey is going to be unique. A murderer could be a great preacher. They used to kill 50 different people, a convicted murderer, and the Bible, murderers have been used to spread the word. So just because you had a bad history of, or imperfect start, there's still chance, and he really doesn't discriminate. That's what I'm going to say. The one that spelled dog backwards. That's my way of saying it. So that's all I'm going to add. Anything else you're going to add before I wrapped up with some plugins? You wrote a lot of articles.
You did good. You add the articles to these episodes, the relevant, the system and human, the human centric and system relevant article I would add to this episode, because that people can actually see it, with the diagram and everything. It makes it easier. Yeah.
The website.
Michaell
with 2 L's. M.com. And, I already say it's created the smarter art. See, pushes self-awareness as a key through art, because that's his way of expressing and communicating. That doesn't always have to be words. It can be art. Art is a form of communication. Do I always understand it? No.
It's not important. You learn when you create art, you learn about yourself. So if I want to find out who I am, my individual one, and I run a business, and then the business is not running like I want it, I still keep it, because and it's just like art is very efficient. You do art when you don't worry about the outcome, and you learn from creating, and that's why we have all the tools. Nature gave us all the tools to be together, happy, and have a fulfilled life.
I mean, art, I'll say, is the easiest way to express one's uniqueness.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes without saying. I could try through systems, but that's impossible. System is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's got 1, 2, 3. Art.
Yeah.
There's no start, definitely no finish. Outlives a human being too.
Yeah.
Once it's done. So, and people's gonna have different interpretations of it. Yep. And I think that does reveal the person. Because me, I always get personally more drawn into the stuff that's odd, the stuff
Yeah.
that looks out of place. It's like, oh, why is that there? I get
Yeah.
curious about that. I'm more of a curious person.
Everybody does
there.
Not you. Everybody does it. People want fresh. People don't want the regurgitate. That's also a problem with AI. It's once you have seen all the combination, people will be aware of them and they want to see the fresh ones.
Oh, it's gonna be much harder to generate fresh. All this new
Yeah.
stuff popped up, shooting,
Yeah.
rapid speed. Yeah, now that's
Yeah.
an excellent point. Humans do crave something fresh, something different, something innovative,
Yeah.
real innovation, not cheap nonsense. What a lot of people like to call innovation. So that's very very true. So check his stuff out. I'm gonna post all that he had mentioned. His site, the 4 LinkedIn articles. You should give it a read. Okay, and about his diagram as well. So that's all gonna be in the description below. So this has been a great conversation. I'm not surprised I was going to be profound again, but in a different kind of way, because just like you said, no conversation is ever the same. Even if we try to consciously make it the same. Oh, you said this and that, but no.
Yeah.
No. I mean, even when we try to preserve history, reenact, it's never going to be exactly the same. We can get an idea, sure, but it's not going to be exactly the same. It's only done once, and if you try to do it again, it's going to be different variances for lots of reasons. You got different people, and it's and it's a different time, and it's so many.
We always grow. You always grow. So when we have this tomorrow, you and I grew in a different way. Yeah. So we are not the same.
Nope, no, we're not the same. And thank God for that.
Right?
It's been a dull life. It's been dull life. I think I would have jumped out the window already. So change is good, especially meaningful change, not just change just to support the systems and just all this other stuff. I do agree that we are losing our core self that made us humans. We become like an extended bot. So but regardless. So thank you so much, Michaell Magrutsche. I got it right this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. That's growth right there. Easy check growth. Yeah, check his stuff out. It's very interesting. It's especially if you are, deep thinking. I mean, everyone should really check it out. Really, everyone, especially if you're drawn by artistic expression. Oh, definitely check it out. You should just go there. Don't even wait for this video to end. I don't even care if I lose watching time. Just go over there. Yeah. So that's me challenging the system a little bit, despite me being part of the system. So, alrighty then. Let me be quiet, wrap this up. We all got other things that we need to do. So, from wherever you at, or whenever you're at, because we are different time zones, you have a blessed day, afternoon, or night.